James Brogan, the Fixer's Corner. The call came from a young woman who sounded like she'd rehearsed the words twice and still didn't like saying them. "My father's too proud to ask," she said, "but the gym about to go under. The numbers on the foreclosure notice don't make sense. I think someone's squeezing him on purpose." Brogan recognized the name the moment she said it. Tommy "Corner" Ruiz. Middleweight prospect in the late 90s, tough as boiled leather, never quite made the national cards but never quit on a kid in the neighborhood either. Brogan had worked that district as a beat cop when Tommy was still fighting. He'd seen the man take punches that would have put lesser fighters on the pension list, then turn around and teach footwork to 12-year-olds for free. He told the daughter he'd look into it. He didn't mention a fee. The gym sat on a side street in Southie, the kind of place where the heavy bags had more miles on them than most of the cars parked outside. Tommy was in the ring with a skinny teenager, demonstrating a slip-end counter that still looked cleaner than half the professionals Brogan had seen. When the round ended, Tommy climbed out, wiped his face with a towel, and gave Brogan the same wary nod he used to give cops who weren't there to cause trouble. "I didn't ask her to call you," Tommy said. "I know, that's why I'm here." The loan paperwork was a mess in the specific way that meant someone had worked hard to make it look ordinary. 2 months earlier, the note had been quietly purchased by a shell company registered in Delaware. The timing lined up almost to the day with Tommy turning down a sponsorship offer from a local fight promoter named Vince DiMarco. DiMarco had suggested the gym could host a few amateur cards under his banner. Tommy had declined. He didn't like the way DiMarco's people looked at the kids. Brogan started pulling threads. An old confidential informant from his department days now worked the docks and still owed Brogan the kind of favor that didn't expire. Over coffee in a place that served it strong enough to strip paint, the CI confirmed what Brogan already suspected. DiMarco's amateur cards were a convenient way to move cash. Gate receipts, training stipends, and sponsorship money that never quite matched the bodies in the seats. The gym's mortgage had been bought up as leverage. Either Tommy played ball and hosted the cards, or the note got called and the building changed hands. It was tidy. It was also the kind of tidy that fell apart if the right person started asking the right questions in the right places. Brogan paid DiMarco a visit after midnight. The promoter's office was above a shuttered sporting goods store, the kind of place that still smelled like leather and liniment. DiMarco was alone, counting nothing in particular. Brogan didn't sit. "I know whose money is moving through the cards," he said. "I know how the mortgage ended up in that shell company, and I know what happens to people who try to turn a neighborhood gym into a laundry." DiMarco started to speak. Brogan shook his head once. "I'm not here to negotiate with you. I'm here to tell you the price of me not making this louder. The note gets sold to a real bank. Tommy's gym stays Tommy's gym. Your cards find another venue. We never have this conversation again." He left the office without waiting for an answer. Men like DiMarco didn't need theatrics. They needed to understand that the quiet option was still available and that the other options were worse. 3 days later, the mortgage was transferred to a legitimate community lender. The foreclosure notice disappeared. DiMarco's people stopped coming around. Tommy didn't ask how it had been handled. Brogan didn't offer details. Some favors worked best when they stayed light on explanation. On a Friday night, Brogan found himself ringside at the gym's amateur card. The place was packed with parents, siblings, and the usual collection of old-timers who still remembered when Tommy could make a crowd hold its breath. A kid from the neighborhood won a tight decision. Tommy climbed into the ring to raise the kid's glove, looking exactly as proud as he was trying not to look. Brogan stayed in his seat, arms folded, expression carefully neutral. He told himself he was only there to make sure the piece held. He almost believed it. When the lights came up, he left through the side door, the sound of the heavy bag still thumping behind him. Another corner of the city put back the way it was supposed to be. No paperwork with his name on it. No headline. Just a gym that still belonged to the man who ran it, and a few kids who still had a place to learn how to keep their hands up. Brogan walked to his car under the streetlights and allowed himself, for once, the smallest private smile.